Is it reasonable or is it shady of Gizelle and Robyn to be accused of harassment? Y'all, we got to get into this. And of course, it looks like Stacy is being vindicated again. Well, at least somewhat. But before we get into that, y'all, I just have to wish you a happy Thanksgiving to those of you guys who celebrate. One of the things that I am thankful for is this community that we have built. Some of y'all have been rocking with me for a very, very long time, and some of you may have just discovered me. So I just want to say, regardless of where you're at in the journey with this particular community in this particular space, just know that you are welcome here as long as you keep it adult, as long as you keep it cute. Okay. With that being said, let's get into our first story of the day. Mind you, I am traveling, y'all, so y'all just gotta bear with me on this one. All right. Okay, so our friends over at the Jasmine brand have let us know that Eminem is accusing Gizelle and Robyn of harassment amid this trademark battle over the reasonably shady podcast name. Because Eminem is the real Slim Shady. Okay. So this stems back all the way from February of 2022. I cannot believe that this has been going on that long. And shout out to Gizelle and Robyn for keeping their podcast going over the past, 3.5 years. That's listen, some people have a podcast and they don't keep it. I mean, we could just look around. You could look around and see some podcasts that have been started. And I would always say, first of all, this is not an easy medium. People may think it is, but it's really, really not, right? There's work that goes into this. You have to and especially if you're doing it with somebody else, the two of y'all got to be so aligned in meeting weekly, figuring out a way to weekly do this. But I think what probably sweetens the pot for Gizelle and Robyn is that I would assume that they're being paid by iHeart, the Black Effect Network, because, you know, I think the Giselle is about her money. That's just me. That's just my thought process. I think that Robyn is probably about her money as well. And you got to remember, Robyn came from a space on this show where she was at least willing to open up about the financial issues that she's had in the past with Juan. So I think that Giselle and Robyn are probably like, we're gonna keep this thing going regardless. They're still going. All right. So y'all know that Eminem owns several trademarks under the Shady and Slim Shady brands for merch. Opposed the filing, right? He opposed their filing for them applying for their podcast trademark, right? Because and I'll tell you guys this: when you start, your own brand or your business or whatever it is that you're doing, you should definitely think about trademarking your assets. And it can be a lengthy process, but it is definitely a process that is well worth it just for the sake of your own like well-being and mindset that okay, I own this. Like nobody else can be running around using this, right? And if you need a good trademark attorney, I do have one. And I will place her link in the description of this video because business owners, y'all get it, okay? Even if you're just a content creator or you're thinking about starting a business, go ahead and get that name trademark, especially if you're already using it. Okay, so he's arguing that granting that trademark to them could confuse consumers and harm his established brand. I mean, I really don't think so. To be honest with you, that word shady is not something that he created. So, but listen, if he was the one who applied for the trademark, he gets the trademark. But I don't think that there's really any confusion there, to be quite honest with you. Now, it says tensions ramped up when the scheduling plans for Eminem's court order deposition hit a snag. Though the parties eventually agreed on October the 29th, the women asked for an 11 a.m. Eastern time start time, and Eminem apparently declined that time, offering instead 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. His lawyer reportedly said via email to Gizelle and Robyn's legal team, getting him to commit time to a deposition is very difficult, and we suggest that you take the opportunity when you can get him. The rapper's attorney also argued that taking more than 2 hours to depose him would be pushing it. Now, in my opinion, if you are the person, and again, this is my limited legal knowledge, but I feel like if you are the person who is basically saying that this would like trying to oppose the filing, then you should probably be able to wrestle in some time, to get this thing done. When you want to wrap this thing up, when you want to have this loophole closed. I mean, in my mind, I'd be like, put me on the line. Well, what we got to do? It ain't like a show going on at that time. Usually, concerts are taking time at night. I mean, now I don't know what else Eminem might be doing, but I'm just saying this is about 2 hours or 3 hours, right? Now, Gizelle and Robyn's team called those demands unreasonable, well, not unreasonably, but unreasonable, and accused Eminem's side of using the scheduling issues to stall. In light of these events, Eminem's attorneys maintain that repeated attempts to force a specific deposition time over a 3-hour start time difference only proves that their pursuit of this deposition is designed to harass. I don't really get that, but maybe this is a tactic that lawyers and attorneys use in order to get what they want. I'm unclear. If you are an attorney, please let us know in the chat what you think about this. Okay? Let us know. All right, y'all. Is Stacy vindicated yet again? I mean, these women just cannot win. They cannot catch a break with Stacy, y'all. They can't. They can't. So y'all know how in the previous episode it was alleged by Kiarna that apparently it got back to Cookie that someone in the group had told Chris that Monique was saying some negative things about him. Okay. And it was assumed, I don't know if it was assumed or told. Okay. Let me put the alleged badge up here. I don't know if it was assumed or told directly to anyone that it was indeed Stacy, but because I can't, I mean, it was kind of unclear to me. Like the waters were murky about that because so much was going on. There was the finger pointing, which was like wild, and and all of that. So it kind of got lost in the sauce of who actually said that, but or if it was just assumed, right? And I think that would probably be a reasonable assumption. So Stacy actually recommends that somebody in the group calls Chris. Call Chris Samuels. And thank God Sharice is there with Chris's phone number so she can dial him up and she lets him know that they are indeed filming and that Cookie was made to look bad. And now they want to know if it was Stacy who went back and told him things that Monique had allegedly said during the group sit down during Ashley's Pride luncheon event, right? The girls had went to lunch and they were talking to Monique. Okay, so at this point, Chris kind of pauses and he says, "Yeah, I don't know nothing about what the F or I guess F or HE double hockey sticks. What y'all talking about?" Okay. Um And so Stacy's like, I mean, see, here we have it. Here we have it. Here we have it yet again. Yet again. Now here's the thing. Because of what was said was being because of what was said being so specific, it is possible that Stacy went back and relayed elements of that conversation to him. Um, and it's possible that elements of that conversation may have been exaggerated. Without have seeing that full lunch, we won't really know. And because we didn't see it actually happen, we don't really know. And because Chris doesn't give us an answer that is really honestly truly satisfactory other than leave me out the mess, basically. Leave me out of it. Um it's really, to me, questionable whether or not Stacy still said it, but the fact that he really doesn't give her up is enough for me to be like, "Okay, y'all need to let it go because what y'all trying to do right now, it's not working." It's like they keep trying to take shots, but they keep missing because at the end of the day, Stacey is gonna matrix her way around whatever, and she's gonna do it effortlessly. So again, the gotcha has to be worth it. And the gotcha moment that they're trying to have with her, it's just not working and it's just not worth it. And that's what it boils down to me. It just boils down to that. It's not working, babes. It's not working. It's not working out for you. It's just not working out for you. Let's try something else, babes. Let's go a different route. Maybe we just leave her alone for a little bit and focus on someone else. All right. Speaking of focusing on somebody else, y'all, Angel is still holding a grudge against Wendy. Y'all, this thing is getting so bad that at this point, it's like I don't know if she has like a selective memory, and maybe it is a little bit selective. I don't really know, but the thing about this whole situation with Angel and with Wendy is now that it's being Gizelle initiates a conversation with Wendy and tells her that Angel still has smoke for her, right? And it Angel's belief is that it was Wendy who called her a catfish. Now, this belief is also perpetuated by Kiarna, right? And so Kiarna also too feels like she heard Wendy say it. But Gizelle is basically even in real time telling her, no, girl, I said it. Hey girls, I said it. I said it. It was me. It was not Dr. Wendy. Okay. And so Angel is very much still giving, but you're being dismissive of me. And at this point, it's like, what is she being dismissive of? She didn't actually say what you're accusing her of. If you didn't like her laughing at you, then okay, you didn't like her laughing. But to have so much angst for Wendy, and the excuse is that, oh my God, well, Gizelle apologized. But at the end of the day, if Gizelle apologized and Gizelle was the one that said you were the catfish, then all should probably be forgiven at this point. But you're holding on to something that you think that Wendy said, but Wendy basically was explaining to you what the catfish of it all meant. She basically elaborated on what Gizelle was trying to say, and now you are holding that against her. It almost feels like, and I don't think anybody could be blamed for feeling like this. It feels like Kiarna chin checked Angel into submission, into also doubly having an issue with Dr. Wendy, as does Kiarna. I think that Kiarna is probably justified in how she feels about Dr. Wendy because that's that seems to be her true feelings based on her true experience. Um, Whether Wendy really cares or not is quite another matter. I don't think she does. But I think that for Kay, that the issue is real. I think that she did chin check Angel. She's like, "You're coming onto the show as my friend. We have history. You're supposed to back me." So once Angel realized what she was supposed to be doing, I feel like now she's continuing to do that. And I feel like it's just not gonna serve her well in the long run because I think that it just takes her out of being her own individual person, and it kind of places her into I'm her ride along, right? And I don't want that for her or anybody. And I think that she needs to let this thing with Wendy go because at this point in time, it's just starting to feel a little weird. Starting to feel a little weird. So it's kind of like I get it. You might have your reservations about her, but at a certain point in time, you got to put it on pause because listen, it's not enough evidence. It's not enough evidence. It's not enough evidence against Stacy. I mean, and you might think you have the evidence, but the evidence ain't landing in the court with the people. Okay. Similar for Angel. And granted, it don't have to at the end of the day, but I'm just letting you know that it's not gonna play out well because we've seen this happen before, right? The audience knows it's just not gonna work if you keep it up. So let us know what y'all think in the comments down below. What do you think Angel's actual issue with Wendy is? Why do you think she's perceiving her so harshly? Or is it justified? Could it be? I mean, could it be? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not there. But just based on the what I'm seeing, um eh, you know what it feels like? I know what it feels like. It feels like Stacy and Wendy are having fun. It feels like Angel and Kiana are not. I think that's the bottom line to this. Stacy and Wendy are having fun. They're laughing. They're having a blast, even as the women come for them, or even as they're being painted to be certain ways with certain people. Some of them may be based in actual reality, but I do feel like they look like they're having fun, and that's what I think is resonating with us. Angel and Kiana don't look like they're having that much fun. So maybe girls, like, let's get back to the fun. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, y'all. I just wanted to be able to do something because I missed yesterday and I was, on the road traveling and whatnot. And I will be on the road traveling for like the next couple of days. So I'll definitely get you guys content when I can. But with that being said, happy Thanksgiving, and I will catch you in the next video.